No idea. So what we'll do is we'll wait for a few more minutes and after that we'll start the session. Okay. Yeah, Cynthia, are you saying something? Okay. We'll wait for a few minutes and then we'll begin the session. Okay. Thanks. We'll start our session in 3 more minutes. Okay. So in this session, I'll briefly talk about the agenda of the session. So we want we won't be doing the problem solving like we had done in the last session. Okay, what we'll do is we'll discuss the concepts. Okay, so I hope many of you are comfortable with coding in Python. Okay, we'll discuss the basics of like programming in Python, and we'll look at the different aspects. I mean, different kinds of questions that we covered in the exam. So those parts alone we'll be discussing. So anyway, we'll wait for 2 minutes and then begin session. Okay. So we have enough students here, so we'll begin the session. Okay. So before we begin, how many of you have done programming in Python? So how many of you are aware of Python? Okay. At least if you've done some programming in Python, you can raise your hand. Can you do that? Yeah. Yeah. Person, two, three. Yeah. Others keep raising your hand. Okay. If you're done programming in Python, some coding in Python, you can raise your hand. Okay. Only around only 6 people. 8. If you're done programming if you're done some coding in Python, you can raise your hand. Okay. Even if you've written hello world program, it's okay. That is still acceptable. So around 10 students, or more than 10. Okay, that's it. That's it. No one else. If you're done some coding in Python, please raise your hand. So others, you have not done any coding in Python, is it? Sinjuda, Dhanwant, Rahul, Abhishek, Bhutta Singh.
No, I don't have exposure in Python.
Okay. So Bhutta Singh, you have done coding in Python. Navneet, Rahul Kumar Ram, Raj, you haven't done any coding in Python? It's like half the people, nearly 15 people have raised the exam. Okay, okay, Geetu Sebastian. Mathematics class not started yet. Generally, the sessions could extend for more than 2 hours, so the session would have been still continuing. Okay, it's up to you guys. Like, okay, if you're comfortable with mathematics, you could just come here for Python class. Okay, or else if you want to wait for the mathematics class to complete, you could just go there. Okay. Okay. So it's like around 30% of you have done coding in Python. Okay, I assume that's so. Okay. So how many of you done coding in any of the programming language? In any, not even in Python, in any language, be it C, C++, Java, anything. Okay, you can raise your hand now. Now I want more answers to be raised. I hope any programming language. If you're done any kind of programming in any language, that's totally okay. You can raise your hand. Others, are you not aware of like how to raise your hand, or you are not exactly done programming, is it?
Hi,
Akshaya,
Devraj here.
yeah, yeah, Dev.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't done any no language no programming or learning like that. But I have happened to go through the language sorry Python in the courses
Okay,
that were being given in the uh, qualifier exam. And I looked at it, the similarities with the Excel formula writing. It is more or less the same conditional
yeah,
thing. So understanding is quite easier by
mm,
applying
mm,
if condition, if not, or else, all those things. I think
yeah.
it seems to be advanced Excel. If at all you know, means applying formulas, then more or less uh, I can understand the language. That's what is my feeling.
Okay, okay, yeah. Python is like very beginner friendly language, programming language to begin with. It's kind of like as you told, right? It's kind of like reading some English language thing, right? If else for loop and all that, for loop maybe like that might be a little bit difficult for you to follow up like what exactly is happening, but then others and all everything appears kind of like easy, right? So whatever I mean, whatever small ports that was there, right? At least for the past 2 weeks, right? It would have been like very easy to follow. So that's why Python students say that it's very easy to begin with. Yeah. So they like it's going to be easy. Okay. Even though you did not code in any language, it's not going to be that difficult. Okay. But then I would say put more hours, put more effort into this because it's going to be. I mean, it's going to require some attention of you to do well. Okay, so yeah, okay. So let's begin then. Okay, what we'll do is okay, I won't be able to teach you the entire Python programming language. Okay, so what I will do is we'll just discuss the basics of it. Okay. All right. Is this okay? Since many of you have not done programming, okay, much of programming. So what we'll do is we'll just discuss basics until maybe for loops. Okay. Until the for loops and the while loops we'll discuss. Hello, can I repeat?
Okay, seems seems to be fair. Meanwhile, one question.
Yeah.
Right here again. Is there any possibility that we can get a question set of question papers in on the net wherein we can try solving it as a mock question paper?
The mock question paper, like the one which was given to you in the last session, that one you're talking about, or the new kind of mock questions you want?
For the well,
Okay, so for you
previous
to
year question
practice it,
paper.
yeah. So for you to practice it, you're able to access the contents of first few weeks, right? Correct? Are you able to access the assignments too? The practice assignment and the grade assignments, are you able to
Assignments.
access?
Okay. In the classes, week 1, week 2. That
Yeah. Week one, week two, week three. In that there are going to be some assignments. Leave the programming assignments. There are going to be these theory
okay.
assignments which are called as practice assignment and the grade assignment. Okay. So
Okay.
if you could like solve those problems, okay, then that's going to be good enough.
Mm,
I mean, it's going to give you
okay.
sufficient practice. Okay, clear?
But I don't think we have access to the portal, sir.
Okay. So you don't have access to portal. You just have access to the videos, is it?
Yes, YouTube
Yeah.
video channels.
Okay.
You-
Only videos are on. Okay.
Sir,
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll try to upload some materials for you. Okay. So just this some questions, okay, questions, MCQ NIT questions or not, okay, we'll try to upload that alone. If you could try to practice, then that's going to be good enough. Okay,
where will it be uploaded, please?
what
Where will it be uploaded?
uploaded in the sense like right now you do not have access to any portal, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the YouTube videos. So what we will try to do is we'll try to mail you the links for the links for those materials. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. The drive link alone will be giving you. Okay.
Is this, I'm sorry, is this actually the third session? I've not been able to attend the previous ones. I didn't know.
This is the second session that is happening for Python.
Okay, thanks. Is it possible to get a recording of the first one?
Yes, it is possible, but I do not know if they have shared the link with you. Okay, I need to be checking.
If it
We
is
have not
possible.
received any links so far for any
You
session.
have,
So we didn't receive any questions from previous session as we had requested previous session as well.
Yeah, there was even in the previous session for not only for Python but also for mathematics and statistics. It was been told that it will be mailed to us individually because now we don't have a forum, neither we have access to the portal. Once we qualify through the exam, after that there will be a forum like WhatsApp group and all. So we will have more opportunity to get through the data. But now since we are not into the access of those things, the only possibility was through email. So for the first session's data, whatever recordings was there, if at all that was available, we could go through that. Those who ever have missed it or those who want to revise, it would be beneficial. It's a request.
true. Yeah. We'll try to do that. Okay. So we'll talk with the
Thanks.
portal team and then we'll try to get those links shared with you. Okay. Okay. So let's begin the session. Okay. So the agenda for this session is, as I told, we'll discuss about the basic concepts of Python. Okay. So let me before we begin, let this be clear that I will not be able to teach you the entire Python programming language within this 2 hours. Okay. But what we will try to do is we'll try to kind of make you familiarize with it. Okay. Clear? Okay. So if you are done at least some part of programming, okay, if you have doubts, okay, you could stop me at any point and then ask some doubts. Okay. When I mean doubts, the doubts regarding whatever concepts that was discussed. Okay. Not the advanced topics. Okay. Let's not discuss too much advanced topics to scare the beginners. Okay. Let's not scare the beginners. Okay. Yeah. So let us begin. So what I'll do is I will open. Okay, I'll open one of the compiler. Okay. So through that we'll be discussing. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is his test.py file. Okay. Test.py file is nothing but the Python file. Okay. You'll write the code in it and then we'll execute it. Okay. So what I'll do is, so whatever concepts we have discussed, right? I'll just talk about that and then we'll discuss them. Okay. So if you do this hash and then and then if you do something, okay, so that is going to be commented on. Okay, this is the first this is my first Python code, something like that. Okay, so this is going to be commented out. So what does it means is, while executing this code, this first line will not be considered. Okay, so basically it kind of ignores the first line since it is a comment. Okay, since that is not an actual code, it will not be considered. Okay, so this comment so will be given just for the outsider person to be familiar with what is happening with the code, right? So kind of like saying what are we doing in this code. Okay, you could use the comments for that purpose. Okay, so first thing, let us talk about variables. Okay, so like variables is something that are used to store data. Okay, store some information kind of. Okay, so when we mean store information, right, what kind of information we could store? We could store different kinds of information. Okay, could be the integers, it could be string. We will talk about what is a string. Okay, for those of you who are not aware of this term. Okay, integers alone, I guess it should be familiar. float is nothing but the other points, the decimal part of the real numbers. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, without, so when I call this a equals 9, right? When I mention this a equals 9, 9 is an integer. Okay, 9 is an integer, and I've assigned this 9 value to a. Okay, so basically what this means is a value will be stored in this 9 value. Okay, is this clear? A is a variable whose value is equals to 9. So whenever I call for a, for example, let me do this print a. So basically, what does this a has? A is storing 9, right? So basically, it will print the 9. Okay, clear? Until now, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here we have this. Here we need not mention that a is storing integer. Okay, unlike other programming languages, like for example, in the other programming languages, you need to mention that it is an int. Okay, int a equals to something like that, right? You need to do that. But then here you need not do that. Do that in the Python. So in Python, it's like dynamic. So based on the value which you're assigning, this data type it will be changed directly. Okay. So for example, here b equals to, let's say, 9.67. Okay, something. Okay. Now this is float. Now this is called as float. This is an integer. Okay. Now the other data types will be this string. Okay. String is nothing but it also combination of some characters. So for example, let's say we have this Python. Okay, Python. Okay, now c is equals to this Python. Okay, what is this? This is nothing but a string, which is nothing, it's a collection of characters here. Okay, p is a character, y is one character, t is one character, h is one character, o is one character, and n is one character. Okay, so this c is nothing but this collection of characters. This collection of characters is called a string. Okay, this character, it could be single one also. Okay, now the single one, this p is a character, but then this can be called as a string too. Okay, commonly. Okay, now we have this equals to Python. So until now we looked at integer and then float and then string. Okay, so the other basic type is boolean. Okay, boolean means that boolean means either like true or false. Okay, 0, 1 or 0. Okay, so it could either be true, okay, or it could be false. So I'll have this d equals to false thing. Okay, clear? What is boolean? Boolean part, true or false? Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
like how exactly we'll use this true false thing? We'll discuss that soon. Okay. Now, what does this print statement does is it prints whatever variable or whatever variables you're passing to it. Okay. Right now we could just print a. Okay. And then actually we could print multiple variables at a time: a comma, b comma, c comma, d comma, e. Okay, those are the variables which we have, right? So basically, if I run this, it's going to print for me all the variables. As you could see here, in this particular line here, okay, the highlighted line at the bottom, right? It has printed for me 9.67 Python true false. Okay, by default there is a space between 9 and 9.9. 9.67 to Python, there is one space. Python, in between Python and true, there is space. But in between true and false, there is space. Okay. What this basically means is, right? Actually, this print method, right, or this print function, okay, there is this thing called SCP separator. Okay. What does the separator does is it's it kind of like talks about this separator in between two variables, right? We have this one variable as a and then the other variable as b. While you're printing it, what do you want in between these two variables? What is separator between these two variables? Okay, by default it is space. Okay, If we do not mention anything, it's going to print space in between the variables. So that is why you got between 9 and 9.67, you got a space. Okay. Between 9.67 and Python, there is a space. Okay. But then if you mention and if you could see here, the separator is a string, right? Separator is a string. Okay. So if you mention here nothing, okay, just the quotes, okay, and okay, I did not mention this. We'll mention the string, right, in between the quotes, in between the single quotes or double quotes. Like for example, you mentioned C equals Python, right? Even if you define it like C equals this, okay, in between the double quotes, it's the same. Okay, line number 4 and 5, it is the same. Okay. So when I mention the separator equals nothing, okay, when you do not have anything, now if I try to execute it, now you could see that everything got packed next to each other. Okay, there's no space. 9.67 Python, true, false, everything got printed like next to each other. Okay, until now is it clear?
Yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, when we are giving this command that a separator is equal to space,
No,
there
no,
is space,
it's
right?
like no space. It's like
No
nothing.
space. Okay, okay, got it.
No space, no space.
Yeah.
Since there is no space, we got this. If it has been space, right? Okay, then we'll be having a space.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is that your doubt? That was your
I
doubt,
thought
is it?
yes, I thought it was a space. Yeah.
Actually, there's no space. Like for example, instead of the space and anything, right? I could give like anything. So for example, it could give like
Comma.
let's say, yeah, comma can be given. Separator equals to comma can be given. So right now it's going to be like 9 comma 9.67 comma Python comma true false, true comma false. Okay, is this clear? Okay, so now, yeah, so there are like some other things, some other things which we didn't discuss. That is this, we could do, since a is an integer, right, and b is a float, right? Actually, we could do some operations between it. Like we could add integers. We could like multiply integers. We could do the power, right? We could do the power of an integer, like 3 square, 5 cube, 10 power, 10 power, let's say 25, right? All those operations can be done, right? All those can be done here too. So for example, here let's say we have this a equals 9 and b equals 9.67, right? And then I could create this result res equals to a plus b. Okay, so addition between a is an integer, b is a float, but then addition of this integer and float is acceptable. Okay, because like generally we do the addition between this integer and float, right? The same way we could do the addition like the same way Python does the addition for us here. Okay, so let me remove all this. Let me just print result. Okay, now the result of it's going to be float. Okay, 9 plus 9.67, it's going to be res, it's going to be float. Okay, clear? Now if you want to subtract two integers, I mean subtract two variables here, either integer or float, you could do that by a minus b. You could multiply it by star, okay, a star b. You could divide that by a divided by b, okay. A divided by b gives the division. Okay, this is division. Okay, and then like if you want to get the remainder, right? Remainder when a particular variable is divided by the other one, then you could do it by, let me change this to 10. Okay, now remainder rem equals to a percentage a percentage b. Okay, basically this a percentage b basically means this 9 when it is divided by 10, right? What is the remainder? Okay, that will be stored here. Right now, since when you divide 9 by 10, the remainder is going to be 9 again, because we know that, right? When 9 is divided by 10, the remainder is going to be 9 itself. Okay, but when you divide 9 by 4, right, the remainder is going to be equals to 2. Okay. All right. Here, if you look at this a by b, right, 9 by 4. Okay. In the C++ and all, okay, 9 divided by 4, it's going to result as 2. Okay, but here it's going to result exact value of 9 by 4, which is going to be 2.125, I guess. 2.25. Yeah. Okay. Clear until now?
Oh, one small question. Spacing between the function like a space into space b or a into b directly. Spacing will really matter here.
Okay, this space you're talking about. This?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't
That
matter
doesn't matter. In Excel,
as
it
long
matters.
as you're
So
doing
I
it
was
here.
just correlating.
As long as you're doing it here, okay? You do it like this, it's going to be the same. Okay, but if you give space here, it matters. If you give space within the string, right, it matters. Okay? Oh, let me just run this for your sake. It gave me again the same. Okay, 2.25. Okay, clear?
Yeah, now I clarify. Only thing is, since I don't have a software downloaded Python, I am doing it all in papers. So that is why I was not able to make out really space matters or not.
Okay. So what you could do is, do you have a laptop with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you could open Replit. So okay, let me just do it in Replit itself.
Acha, now, right now you are asking. Actually, I'm traveling in a metro and attending the class. So
How many chapters are we planning to cover today?
Can you repeat?
Yeah.
How many?
Chapters are we planning to cover today?
How many classes or concepts?
Yeah,
Concepts?
I think you have some week 1 to week 10. I don't know how many weeks of chapters we have in Python.
Yeah, okay.
So how much are we planning to cover?
So we are going to, like, we are planning on covering until like week 4. Okay, only until week 4. Week 4 we are planning to cover. Okay, so week 5 is dictionary, and then so no, week 5 is just functions. Okay, it's going to be functions, which is not that difficult. Okay, and then week 6 is going to be this dictionary sets and all. Okay, so until that, and like if you're able to watch until week 6, right, then that's going to be good enough for the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, thank
Hello,
you.
sir.
yeah,
Can I get recording for this session after the class?
yeah, actually the recording will be given to you. Okay.
And excuse me, Ashok here. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Which editor you are using? Just curious to know.
Okay, like until now I have used the Google Chrome. Okay, but right now what we'll be using is you'll use this one.
Right. Yeah, this
Okay,
was
you'll
there
use-
in the given video references. It was there.
Yeah. So this was there in the reference. I mean, the video references, it was there, right? It was there. Okay, so you could just use this. Okay, so until now what we have discussed, we talked about variables and all, right? Okay, so what we'll do is I'll kind of like give you some exercise kind of thing. Okay, I just talked about the string, integers, float, and then boolean, right? Okay, I won't discuss the operations between two integers, floats, and all that. Okay, I won't discuss that. Okay, because that's kind of like basic. Okay, you could just look up on that. Okay, so since we do not have like too much time. Okay, and then we have like we need to be discussing lot. Okay, we'll move on like fast forward. Okay, is this clear? Okay, look out for the operations that can be done. Clear? Okay, and then if you at least look at the videos, then that's going to be, I mean, you'll be able to understand all the operations, most of the operations. Okay. So now we'll talk about strings. Okay. So if you look at it, so it's equals to Python. Is my font size clear? Is it good enough? My font
It is
size?
clear.
It's good, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now when I print yes, just print yes to check. Okay, it has given me this Python. Okay, now there are some methods that you can use for strings. That is, one is called len. Okay, len gives you the length of the string. Okay, length of the string kind of means that how many characters you have in the string. So right now we have PYTHYN, 6 characters, right? So basically len of s will give you 6. Okay, so it has printed the value 6. Okay, which basically means the string is of length 6. Okay, now you could print, I mean, you could get the specific character by calling the index of that particular character. Okay, you need to call it like within this brackets, within the square brackets. Okay, you could call it like 0. One thing is that this Python, like other programming language, it has a zero indexing. Okay, the index starts from 0. So the index corresponding to the character P is 0. For Y it is 1, T it is 2, H it is 3, O it is 4, and N it is 5. Okay, so when I call for this S of 0, the character which it's going to print is it's going to print P. Okay, so let me just print S of 1. Okay. You could see here I have printed len of S, which is 6, S of 0, which is P, S of 1, which is Y. Okay, similarly you could print until S of 2, S of 3, S of 4, S of 5. Okay, S of 5 we could do, and then let me print S of 6. Okay. S of 5 is the last character for us because we have we have our string length is 6. Okay, because our index starts from 0, right? The last character index will be 5, but I'm asking for 6th, I mean S of 6, which is not there, right? S of 5 is n. What is going to be the S of 6? It's kind of like we are asking for the value which is not there as index. So let me run this and see what happens. Okay, it has printed P, Y, S of 5 is n, the last character it has printed. And for this line 6, right, S of 6, it has given me string index out of range. Index error, string index out of range. So whenever you call for an index which is not there, right, I mean like where the index is kind of like out of the range. Okay, the range will be from 0 to len of s minus 1. Okay, whatever length of the string we have, minus 1, until that is going to be range. So since right now the string has 6 characters. Okay, I mean the length is 6, the range is going to be from 0 to 5. Okay, if it has 10 characters, I mean if the length is 10, the range is going to be from 0 to 9. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we could add it to strings. Like for example, let's say we have this s equals to Python and then b equals to, we change this to a. A equals to Python and then b equals to language. I'll give some space and then language. Now I could do this result equals to a plus b. Okay. Let me print result. Okay, it has given me Python language. Okay, when I printed result, right, it gave me Python language. So what it basically done is it has just added these two strings. Okay, first string is Python and the second string is space followed by language. Okay, so if I remove the space here, right, it is just going to give me this entire one. Okay, like Python language. Okay, this is clear until now. Until now, are we okay?
Yes.
Okay. So the other important thing is the indexing part. Okay, the indexing, it could start from, okay, not the indexing, the slicing. Okay, indexing we have seen. Okay, where we could call a specific character. Okay, well, how the slicing works is we could call for a group of characters, kind of like a small part of a string itself. Okay, let's say I want only the first three characters of a. How do I get it? It's simple. You start from 0. Okay, since I want the first three characters, I'll mention 3. Okay, slash index 3 won't be included, so it will just include the indices from 0, 1, 2. Okay, this is going to be give me pyt. Let me run this. It has given me, it has printed pyt. Okay, if I do not mention anything, then it's going to give me the entire string. Okay, so if I mention like, or let's say I want yth. Okay, yth, the y index starts from, I mean the index for y is 1. Okay, and then the index for h is 3, so I'll mention 4 here. Okay, the last index will not be included, so basically the 4 index will not be included, only before 4 it will be included. Okay, now it's going to give me yth. Okay, is this clear, slicing part? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me just mention a start equals 0 and then end equals to something like 4. Okay, so this is going to be start and then end. Okay, so there is going to be the start and then end. Okay, so here the starting index is 0 and then the ending index is 4. Anyway, the 4 will not be included, so it's going to be like 0 pyth. Okay, it's going to print until like Python. Sorry, not Python, but Pyth. Since the index for h is 3, right, that will also be included. Okay, as you could see here, it has printed pyth. Okay, the reason the start will be replaced with 0, as I told, right, the start is a variable which is holding 0 value. Okay, so and this end will be replaced by 4. So basically this a of 0 to 4. Okay, clear? Until now, are we good?
Yeah, it is called index,
Yes.
right? This
This is called slicing.
function. Slicing. Okay.
This is called slicing. The previous one was called indexing. Okay.
Indexing is
Okay.
sequencing. Okay.
Okay. So there is this one other cool thing which you can do in Python. So that is, let's say I want to create a string of like Python added to itself 10 times. So for example, let's say I want to print Python like that 10 times. Okay. Kind of like you do this Ramakoti. I don't know if you know of this. Like writing Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram like 1,000 times, 1 crore times, 1 lakh times, right? Okay. You could do that very easily in Python. Okay. So for example, we have this Python, right? Okay. If I just multiply it by 1,000, okay. Now let me print A. Okay, you could see here it has printed like Python itself like so many times. Okay. Is this clear? So
Yes.
basically what this does is it adds Python to itself like 1,000 times and then that's going to be given out as a string. Okay. Similarly, you could do this.
So if you want, we want to space between them, and
What? Can I repeat?
space between Python type.
Okay, if you want space,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, that can be done like in this way. Okay. Python space multiplied by 1,000 times. Okay. Okay, you could see here there is space.
Yeah, take it.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the problem is there is going to be an extra space at the end also. At the end means like after this variable, right? After this Python, right? There is going to be an extra space too. You won't be able to notice it here, but there is extra space after the last Python also. Okay. Okay. So this is one thing which you could do, and okay. So using this, you could print a pattern. For example, let's say you want to do this. You want to print on the first line you want to print star ones, and then on the second line you want to print star twice. Okay. Similarly, you want to print it like until like 5 times. Okay. So this 3 times on the fourth line, 4 times, you have 5 times, 6 times. Okay. Okay, good. So here we could be easily doing it here. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Until now, is it clear? Okay. So there are like so many other things which you could do in strings. Okay. That too I leave it up to you. Okay. Look at the lectures. That will kind of like give you some understanding of it. Okay. Okay. So now we look at the actual programming kind of thing. I mean, by actual programming, we look at some logics. Okay, we look at the if else statements now. Okay, if else statement. Shall we get into it? Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So for us to look at the if else statements, right? There should be some problem for you. Some kind of like let's say you are a software engineer. Okay, at some particular company. Okay, and then what's going to happen is you want to get the name of a person. Okay, you want to get the name of a person. By that particular name of the person, you want to call that person either as a sir or miss. Okay, is this clear? Is the problem statement clear? It's kind of like, let's say there is this chat box, right? We see this automatic chat box, right? We see that on so many websites. Okay, so what it's going to do is, based on the name of the user, it's going to either address that particular person as sir, if that particular person is a male. Okay, if that particular person is a female, then it's going to address her as miss. Okay, now how do you do it? Okay, so the only thing you have is you have the information regarding the regarding the name of the person. You will get the full name. Full name in the sense like you'll enter it like suppose Mr. Karthik, okay, Miss Malini, okay, something like that, okay, Miss Nandini, okay, something like that. That's going to be the full name of that particular student, of that particular person, okay. Is this clear? Hello, is this clear what I'm talking about? Okay. So what this input is going to do is it's going to ask for the input from the user, and then it's going to store that input in the name. For example, do this print name. Others, please mute yourself. Okay. Now let me give them my input as Mr. My name Ram. Okay. Now this name, it has just printed the name. Okay, it has just printed whatever I have given. Okay. So by default, this input it's going to be a string. Okay, no matter if you enter 10 also, that is 10, it's going to be the type of it, it's going to be string. Okay. You could actually convert the string to integer if you know that the input is an integer. This is off topic to the problem. We'll discuss about this conversion from string to integer later. Okay, but right now let's discuss about the problem. Okay, so let me run this again. Now I'll give some female name, Miss Denny. Okay, so right now it has given me Miss. Okay, so what I want to do is, as I told, based on the name of the person, I want to address that particular person as a sir or miss. Okay. How do I do it?
If condition.
Okay, if condition. How do I check?
If name equal to it starts with the letter. I mean, if it starts with Mr. You give a condition as address in Mr. Otherwise, else addresses as his as a Miss.
Yeah, correct. So how do I exactly know whether it starts with Mr. or how do I know
think
that?
you need to use the split function over here. That would be useful. So like name dot split double equals Mr. or Mrs. That might be helpful.
Okay. So yeah, you're correct, but then you are going ahead like the split was not discussed until now. Okay, so let's not get into that. I told about slicing, right? String slicing, right? So this Miss Nandini is nothing but a string, right? Correct. So I could check whether the first 4 characters it is equals to Miss or not. Okay. So if name or let's say
Check the first
let's
two
say I'll
characters.
check whether the first 2 characters is equals to Mr. or not, MR or not. Okay. If it is equals to Mr., then I will address that particular person as sir. Otherwise, I will address that particular person as Miss. Okay. So if name,
What if the person is entering only the name, not the prefixes?
what? Yeah, if it is going to be only name, then it's going to be difficult for us. Okay. We can't be judging the gender entirely by name, right?
It only works when the user enter the prefix.
Yeah. It works if it has a prefix. See, just for simplicity purpose, let's assume that it has a prefix. Okay.
Okay.
If the name of starting to 0, okay, 0 to 2, or if I do not mention also that you consider 0 to 2, what this basically means, it includes the first 2 characters of the name. Okay, if that is equals to MR, if this double equal to means that we are checking whether this is equals to MR or not. Okay, if it is equal, then it's going to return true. If it is not equal, then it's going to return false. Okay. If it is equal, then what does that means? It means that that particular person is a male, right? So then what you will do is you mention hello sir. Okay. That is if. Okay. And then there is this else statement. Else means that the I mean, the other case of it, if the if statement is false, then what do you want to execute? Okay, if it is false, if it is not Mr., then it's going to be Miss, right? There's assume that there are no other genders and all. So then we'll mention hello Miss. Okay, clear? The logic is clear until now. Okay, this space which you see, right? I mean, after space, the space basically means this entire line 4, right? It belongs to the if block. Okay, this if block, and this entire line number 6, it belongs to the else block. Okay, we'll talk more about this indentation later. Okay, but right now, if the first two letters are equal to MR, then we'll know that the particular person is sir. So we'll address him as sir. Otherwise, it's hello miss. Okay, let me run this now. Okay. Now this, let's say like Mr. Karthik. So yeah, we got it as hello sir. Okay, and it has given me correct. Now let's say like Miss Malini something. Okay, hello miss. Yeah, because it knows that since it is not equal to MR, then it by default assume that the person is a female. Okay, clear until now? Okay, clear, Vidak?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's kind of like complicate this problem a bit. Okay. So let's assume that there is this third gender also. Okay, there is this third gender which is kind of like not specified on. So there, what you will do, you check whether it is Mr. or if it is not Mr., then you check whether it is Miss or not. Okay, so then Miss. Okay, if it is Miss, then you will call hello Miss. Okay, then we'll call as else. We'll call like okay, since we do not know since this is like third gender, right? We'll just call like hello. Okay, clear? Is this clear? Okay, this ellipse block, what it does is, I didn't explain this ellipse part. So if this if statement is true, right, then this will get executed. Okay, if this gets executed, I mean if line number 3 is true, then this 5 to 8, right, this line number 5 to 8 it will not executed at all. It will directly go to line number 10. Okay, line it will directly go to line number 9. Okay, and then it will stop the program. Okay, but if this line number 3 is false, that is if the first two character is not equals to MR, then it's going to check if the first four characters equals to Miss or not. Okay, if it is true, then it's going to print this line number 6, and then it will come to line number 9. Okay, if line number 3 is false and line number 5 is false, then it will come to the else block. Okay, so basically it's kind of like either if this is not true, then it will come to line number 5. If the line number 5 is not true, then it will come to line number 7. Okay, we can have like how many of our ellipse blocks you want. For example, okay, let's change the problem. Let us check like whether a given number is divisible by 2 or divisible by 3 or divisible by 5. Okay, or it's not divisible by 2 3 5. Okay, so now right now what we'll do is, since we know that the input is an integer, we could do this like int of input. Okay, what this int of input does is it will try to convert the input to an integer. Okay, okay, let me just do this like print this. I'll change it to name. Let me remove all this print commands and all because our problem is changed now. Okay. So right now, before I convert this, right? Let me take A and then let me print type of A, okay? And then let me print A. Now I'll convert the A to integer, okay? I'll convert A to integer and then I'll store it in A itself, okay? Now let me print type of A. Then let me print A. Okay. So this part alone, okay. Write the code for here itself. Like, how do you check if the number is divisible by 2 or not? If the remainder with respect to 2 if it is 0, then it basically means it is divisible by 2, right? If a percentage 2 equals 0, right? Then the number is divisible by okay. I copy this. If a percentage 3 equals 0, okay, then the number will be divisible by 3, right? Similarly, if a percentage 5 equals 0, then it will be divisible by 5. Okay. In the else part, I mean, if none of the if and elif are true, what does that mean? The number is not divisible by 3, right? We have here double print.
Now, suppose if we have a number which is divisible by 30, it is going to be divisible by all the 3. What will happen in that case?
Yeah, okay, I'll explain that. Okay, yeah, nice question. As I told, right? If you remember when I was explaining about this if and elif, if the line number 7 is true, right? Then it won't check for this elif statements at all. It won't check for elif and else statement. It directly goes to the end of this. So for example, let's say I'll do this print, my program is done. It's kind of like my end line. Okay. So what's going to happen is if you are given me 30, right? A equals to 30, then a percentage 2 equals 0, this is true. Then it's going to print this line that the number is divisible by 2, and then it come to line number 15. Since the 15 is empty, it will go to line number 16. Okay. It's going to print this. It won't check for this. It won't check for the line number 10, 9 to 14 at all. Okay. Let me run this. So here we are going to talk about two things. That is, first when I took an input and I'm going to check for the type of it. This type of A, it gives you the what kind of data type it is. That is like where it is string,
Sorry,
integer,
Ram,
float.
sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
But in that case, if you give 30, then all the 3 cases are true, right?
Yeah, it is true. It is true. But the thing is,
logical flow is that it will just jump out after the first.
Yeah. But then we do not know that we should be checking there, right? The if elif block, what's going to happen is only one of these 4 will be executed. Not all 4 will be executed. Only one of these 4. Okay. What's going to happen is it's going to check for line number 7. If it is true, then it's going to print line number 8, and then it won't even check for this.
Yes. Okay.
Won't even check for this. Okay. If it has, by mistake, if it has checked this, then maybe it will print this, right? But then it won't even check for this. After line number 8, it directly go to line number 15. It'll skip all these lines. Okay.
Yeah, instead of giving elif in line number 9 and 11, if we give if statement, then
If
the
you
number is divisible by 2, 3,
yeah, if you give if, then it will be executed. Okay. Then whatever he has mentioned, right? That yeah, then all these lines will be executed. Okay.
But this else will be a part of only the if equals if a percentage phi equals of that statement, right? It will be a part only of that one, right?
Can I repeat?
The else statement does not belong to the first two if statements. If you put them as if, correct?
Yeah, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
They will not have any if statement at all, else statement
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. The else statement will belong to the latest if statement. Okay. Okay. Let me run this first. Okay.
Okay.
So let me give like 30 as we talked. Okay. It has given me first. I have printed type of A. Okay. Type of A, it has given me str. Str stands for string. Okay. I have told you when we took an input, right? By default, it's going to be considered as a string. Even though you have given 30 or Python or whatever it is, or your name, whichever one it is, it's going to be considered as a string only. You should convert that to a integer, like I have done here. I have done this int of A. Int of A, so basically it's going to convert the A value to an integer. So it's going to convert the string 30 to an integer 30. Okay. Now we could see here, after I have converted this, it has printed the type as class int. Okay, integer. Okay, is this clear? The type conversion from string to integer. By default the input is going to be string. Till now, is it clear?
So there is a difference. So there is a difference between assigning values for variables and input. In input, it considers anything as string, but while assigning variables, it understands which is integer, which is float.
Correct. So because by default the input one, it's going to be considered as a string. Okay, so generally, ideally, right, after this input, A is going to be equals to like this. A is going to be equals to like this. Okay, it's going to consider this A as within the quotes 30. Okay, that's why it has given me it as like class str. Okay, so if you know that the input is going to be an integer, then what you could do is you could directly convert this to int here itself. Okay, int of input you could do. Okay. Okay. Right now, if you see here, as I have told, it has checked for this line number 3. Okay. Okay, let me run this again. What I got is it has checked for this line number 3. A percentage 2 equals 0. We know that 30 is divisible by 2. So it has printed this, the number is divisible by 2. And then it has directly gone to the line number 12. It did not check for this. 5 to 10. Okay. Clear? Okay, let me do this. Like, let me not convert this to integer and then let me run this. Okay. It's going to give me an error. I'll give you the same input 30, but then it has given me error. Not all arguments converted during string formatting. So basically, it's like it's saying that it basically means you cannot do the division with respect to 2. Okay, for a string. So you need to convert this to integer. Okay, if you do not convert it, it's going to give you an error. Now, as one of you guys have told, instead of using if, let me use if itself. Okay, clear? Now let me run this. If I give now 30, now it has given me the number is divisible by 2, 3, and then 5 because a percentage 2 equals 0, a percentage 3 equals 0, a percentage 5 equals 0. Okay, it did not go to else part because since this is true, it will not go here. Okay, clear? Now let me run this with a different number. For example, 3 to 6. Okay, let me give you 12. Okay. Now can someone tell me what are all print statements will be executed?
Line number 4 and 6.
Line number 4, 6. That's it.
Yeah.
1.
Line
And
4 and 6 and 10.
1.
okay, 4, 6, 10.
12.
Obviously,
And
12 will
12,
be
yeah.
executed.
And 12, yeah.
Yeah. 12 is kind of like doesn't matter one. Okay, but 4, 6, 10. Okay. Any other answers? Any other answers?
Line number
Any other answers?
4, 6, 8
4, 6, 8.
and 12.
8, are you sure? A percent is 5 equals 0. The input is 12.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes, sir, but
I think only line number 4
5
and
divisibility of 5.
4, 6, 10, and 12.
I think only line number 4 and 12 should be printed because it's divisible by 2 and then it will escape the loop and just go directly to the end.
Okay.
Yes, sir, 8 line 8 will be checked at least.
Okay. 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 Let me run this.
Only 4 and 12.
No, it has given me 4, 6,
3.
10, and then 12. Okay. Okay. Let me explain this. Why this has happened? The reason why this has happened is, you could see here that
Yes.
that one student has mentioned that after line number 3,
Else
directly go to line
if
number 12, right?
if.
Yeah, if it has been like if, elif, and then else, then what the student would have said is true. That is like after line number 3, it would have directly gone to line number 12. But then here it was only if. Okay. Because of this, what it's going to do is it's going to check for this line number 3. And then since this is true, I mean, because 12 is divisible by 2, it's going to print line number 4. Okay. Then it will check for this line number 5. Since this line number 5 is true, it will execute line number 6. That is 12 is divisible by 3. Okay. Then it's going to check line number 7. Okay. 12 is not divisible by 5. So line number 8 will not be executed. Since this if block is not executed, it will go to line number 9. Okay. This else block belongs to the line number 7. It does not, this else block does not belong to line number 5 or line number 3. Okay. Clear? These two are like a pair. Okay. This if and else, it is a pair. Okay. The first if statement, it does not have an else statement. The second if statement also does not have an else statement, but then the third if statement, it has an else statement. So since this line number 8 is not executed, line number 10 will be executed. Okay. Clear until now? Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
Line number 9 will also be executed.
Line number 9 will be executed. Yeah. Because this 7 is, I mean, 7 is not true, right? Then it will execute line number 9.
Check
Yes.
for the condition.
Yeah, basically it's just else, right? Yeah, it will see what it was written there. It is since it is else, it will execute line number 10. Yeah, line number 9 will be executed. Okay. When I meant by line number 9, it is this else part. Okay, not the print statement. Okay. Clear? Okay. What we'll do right now is we'll take 5 minutes break and then we'll continue again. Okay. We'll take 5 minutes break and after that we'll continue again. Okay. So I just mentioned this here.
Okay, sir.
5
Badly
minutes
needed.
break. Okay. After this, we'll continue again.
Ibili
ഇതിന്റെ ഇല്ലാണ്
ഇവിടേക്ക് പോകാൻ പോയതാണ് സംഭവം 5 മിനിറ്റ് ബ്രേക്ക് എവിടെ കാണിക്കണം അവിടെ എഴുതിയിരിക്കണം എവിടെ 5 മിനിറ്റ് ബ്രേക്ക് അല്ലേ
എന്തോ
ഇബിക്കോ ചോരെ ഇബി ഇവിടെ എറണാകുളത്ത് So, വേണോ എന്ത് പരിപാടി എന്ത് പരിപാടി പരിപാടിയില്ല രണ്ട് മൂന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു മണി ഓരോ വിളിക്കാറുണ്ടോ നമ്പർ കിട്ടോ
Okay. Hello, hi again.
Yeah.
So let us continue. Hello. Others, please mute yourself. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Is it possible to mute all from your end?
Yeah, I just
Because we
did that.
keep hearing.
I did that. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, when I do this mute all, what I will do is I will only mute for an instance. Okay. You can again mute yourself if you unmute yourself if you want to. Okay. Okay. Now let us just continue the discussion. Like I hope by now you are aware of this if and elif block. If elif else block, is this clear? Anyone has any more doubts in this? No?
It's clear.
Clear, right? Okay. Now let us just continue the discussion. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you just explain us about the reverse printing of any string from -1?
Reverse printing.
From the, I mean, we can give even the negative integers in the index, right?
Yeah.
So can you just explain that? I mean, from -1, because I tried different combination and I've given the text as India is my country, and I tried to print from 15:-1, and it has printed only NTR. So can you just explain that context? How the system takes it?
Okay. So let me take this India.
India is my country.
India is my country. Want the enter one? Okay. India is my country. Okay.
And print.
Yeah.
So print from index A of 15:-1.
15 to -1.
Yeah, 15:-1, and it has printed like NTR alone. So I just want to know how the system, takes negative integers, how it calculates the length. So, I mean, the slicing, how the string slicing happens for negative integer.
Okay. First of all, what is this 15th index? It is this n, is it?
Yeah, n. N is the 15th index.
Yeah. So -1 is this y.
Okay.
-1 is this y. Okay. So what you're basically saying is include all the I mean all the characters from NTR. Okay, without including the last one. So basically, it's going to include like NTR alone. Okay, NTR.
Okay.
Okay.
But generally the indexing, it takes like the first, I mean, separated by this colon. First is nothing but the starting point, and the second is the ending point. So
yes.
My doubt is when we say -1. Yeah, when we say -1, my doubt is why the system doesn't take that -1 character, which is y, also into account. That's what my doubt is.
Yeah, as I told, right, it do not include that last one.
Okay, so only when we have 0 as a starting point, it will include the end number what we have mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if you want to print it right, what's going to happen is if you want to get the last index, you need to print like s of -1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
If you run this, it's going to just print y. Okay.
Okay. So if
The
I
way
want to print the whole reverse string, I mean, what should I mention the start and end point then?
Okay, you want to print it like reverse, is it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, it's going to be difficult, but let me do it this way.
Yes, colon -1, I think.
What?
Would be
So we can just do
yes of
colon
colon
-1.
-1.
The colon -1 doesn't work. Okay, the
Yeah,
colon -1
I tried using
it doesn't go backward.
It is double
That slice,
colon, I think. Colon
the
-1.
slicing only works forward. It doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, actually we could do this. So what you could do is you could use it something like 25. How many? What is the length of it?
19, sir. It's 19. Length is 19. Yeah, 19.
Length is 19. So we'll start the index from 18. We'll end it until -1. This.
We can mention the length also in the index.
Sir, we don't have to mention the index. If you have to reverse the whole string, we can just type double colon and then -1.
Yeah.
If you want to reverse the whole string, we don't have to do that. Just double colon -1.
Double colon -1 like this.
Colon -1. You're giving comma.
Okay, so basically you're just including the entire indices, and then you're doing it from backwards, right? So this should work. Also, if you do this right, why is this not working?
I think 19 to 0 maybe.
Okay. Then we want I, right? I is missing here.
Yeah, that's what. So
Yeah, in the
-1.
India, I is missing.
So should it be from -1 to -1? No.
Okay, if I do not mention anything, then it's okay.
19 and -1 also will work, I think.
No, -1 is not working.
19 -1.
It did not give me anything. You could see here, right? It did not give me anything.
You can
Okay,
pass, I think 20 to 0.
No, the 22 it doesn't work.
Sir, why don't you use a variable there? Length of s. How do you find the length of that one?
So 20 to 0.
You can say length
Yeah, you
of
could use
that
it like
one, right?
len of s.
Yeah, you can use that. So that is going to be index +1. So yeah, n of s -1 will be the length with the index. Index to 0, isn't it?
If you do not mention anything, it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Clear?
What is the logic here, sir? How is it taking it?
This one, okay. What it's going to do is generally the forward index, right? It's going to have this 2 colons one. Okay. By default, we have this forward index, that is, we mentioned like from 0 until let's say 19. Okay, so by default this is going to be 1. That is like the increment value from one index from 0 to 19, right? How we want to move forward, it's going to be by default as 1. So what it basically means is you'll include 0th index, and then +1 1 index, +2 2, +1, like it's going to include all the indices from 0 1 2 3 and so on 19. Okay, since the increment value is 1, that is like increment from 0 to 19 is 1. Okay, what we had done there is 19 until the end. Okay, but the increment is -1. So basically we'll start from end, and then we'll come to starting. Okay, so it's like we'll reduce one index each time. Okay, clear? So you could actually do it even this way, like you could start from 0, and then you could go until 19, and then you could mention the increment as 2. So basically it will include only the even indices, that is 0 and 0 I will be included, n will not be included, d will be included, and then I will be included. Okay, like this. Let me print this to show it. You could see here, right? It has given me, it has included I, D, A, and then it included I. Okay, it has included space in between.
Yes.
Then Y, C, O, U, sorry, and then T, Y. Okay, if you mention it something like from 1 to 19, okay, then it will include the other indices, that is this N, I, and all. Okay, is this clear what I was talking about?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, one way to
third
print
parameter
the
space is
reverse
not
is that
considered, I think.
What? Can I repeat?
Space is not considered.
What
No,
space? Space is
sir.
considered.
It's
You could see
considered,
here
sir.
space, right? You could see
No,
here
space
space.
is
Space is
considered.
considered. Space will be considered as one character.
Okay.
Space is considered. In a string, space is considered. In a string, actually everything is considered. Okay.
sorry, instead of 3, if we give -1, would it print in the reverse? The jump 3 that you
Now
have
let me
given.
print this. Can I repeat?
No, the last one, instead of 3, if we give -1, would it print in the reverse order? Is it equivalent to : -1?
Yeah.
Starting
actually,
from
it just
0 to 19, -1.
No, if you
No,
mention
this
like
is
from
one way to
0,
print the reverse.
if you mention from 0, then it can't go to the reverse way, right?
No,
You
what
do
I'm
it
asking,
reverse
given
way.
the length.
Huh.
Yes,
-1.
I'm just getting
Given the length of yes.
length of S, and then the last second one would be
Yeah,
0 and
this
-1
way
here.
you could do. This way you could do. Okay.
Okay, this is equivalent to : ::1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, let us continue our discussion on this if else block. Okay, so one other important concept I want to discuss is nested if blocks. So what this nested if means is that hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what this nested if means is that if block within if block. Okay, to explain this, let's say I have this. Okay, I'm getting marks of A student, so it's kind of like the context is that A is the A stores the marks stored by the first student. B is the marks stored by the second student. Okay. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to check whether this A student and B student have passed or not. Okay. And then I want to check. I want to also check the topper among these two. Okay. Or let's say the first condition, like I want to check whether student A and student B passed or not. Okay, or like if one student has passed and then another student did not pass, or both of them did not pass. I want to print all the possible scenarios. There are like 4 possible scenarios, right? A student passed and B student passed. A student passed and then B failed. A failed and B failed. Okay. I want to look at all the possible scenarios. So let's say the pass mark is 40. This is fixed. Okay. So now what I will do is if condition, if A is greater than or equals to 40. Okay. If A is greater than or equals to 40, now I'll check the B score. I check if B is greater than or equals to 40. See, I'm doing it within the if block. So basically this all will belong to this line number 4. Okay. I'm checking if B is greater than or equals 40. Now the condition is if A is greater than or equals 40, if B is greater than or equals 40, this line number 6 will execute only if both the if statements are true. Correct? So now I'll print both students are passed. Okay. Now this else block, if you look at it here, this else block belongs to this if block. Okay. What this means is 4th line is true. 4th line is true, but 5th line is false. Right? Which means student A passed, but the student but B failed. Okay. Now let me come to the else block. This else block belongs to this if block. Okay. Line number 9, this belongs to this. Line number 4 if. Okay.
The connection happens by its own, or should we give a space to have that which line it belongs to?
It's kind of like the indentation one. The indentation one. Yeah, the linking happens with indentation one. Okay. You see this else here. The direct above if statement is this one. So this is linked to this. Okay. And since this entire if else, this is like indented, that is the space, right? You could see from line number 5 to 8 there is space, right? So the entire line number 5 to 8 they belong to this if block. Okay.
Okay.
Now you could see line number 9, there is no space, right? There is no space, so it does not belong to the if block. And then this else is directly above this if, directly below this if. So it belongs to this if block. Okay.
Line 4.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what this else block means, A is not greater than 40. A is not greater than or equals 40. Correct? Now again we'll check for B is greater than or equals to 40 condition. Okay. Now we'll print A failed but B passed because B is greater than or equals 40, but it is in the else block, which means A is greater than or equals 40 is false, which means A score is less than 40, right? Now if you go to this else block, what does this mean? A is not greater than 40 and B is also not greater than 40. So basically both students are failed. Okay, is this clear? Okay, let's check this. Let me give some input, like okay, you guys can say input. You guys can tell you input. Any input?
50.
50?
Yes,
okay. That is for A. What about B?
48.
48.
Paid marks.
48.
38.
Yeah, we can
38, okay. So which basically means 50 means that A student has passed. Okay, so student A passed, but B failed. 38 is like is a fail mark, right? So second student failed. Okay. Any other input?
30, 30.
So now it should print both failed, right? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you could see here A is not greater than 40, so it will come to this else block. Right? Inside the else block, it will check if P is greater than 40. P is not greater than 40. And then it will print this. Okay. Let us check the corner cases. That is 40, 40. Okay. If it is 40, 40, it's going to print again both student are
Both
passed
are
because
passed.
we are checking greater than or equals to 40, right?
Mm.
So that is why it's going to give us pass. Okay. Clear?
Yeah. Now this comparison is between two identified persons, even if it is for the class.
It is for class. I mean,
how many students have passed and how many students have failed, then it could be a different logic.
yeah. So then it will be different logic, right?
Okay. Yeah, this is for specific variables. If it is for bigger variables, means more number of data.
Yeah, then it basically depends on like how we store the data. Okay, how we store the data, and then
pull
like
those data as A and pull that data as B and then compare it from class A and class B.
yeah, that you could do. Like, okay, more student in class A has passed and like than compared to class B. That you could do. That comparison you could do. Okay.
And to store that, you have a bulk of data. We have another data storage
Right.
place for this.
Yeah. We have something called list. I'll come to that list.
Okay.
We'll discuss that also in this session itself. Okay. We'll end with the list. Okay.
Okay.
Right now the if condition is clear, if else something like if nested if block, everything is clear, right? Okay, at least the basic part is clear, right?
Which is clear.
Just one question. When you write, for example, line number 9, you write else and you just make an enter. So the indentation happens by itself, right?
Yeah. In this particular case, right, since I'm using this replit and then I'm using this .py file, this whatever what is it compiler I'm using, that is like smart enough to know that there should be indentation. Okay, but if you're writing it on like notepad or something, then it doesn't know, right? Then you need to actually give space.
We will have to,
Okay.
okay, that's what the thing, because if it is intelligent enough, it will take. If not, we will have to indent. That was the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The number of spaces which is given is 2 spaces, I guess. Actually, should be given tab. There is a tab, right? Tab in a keyboard. Okay. If you enter tab, then that's good enough. Okay. So now we'll come back to the. Okay, but this if and else it's clear. If else, the nested if. Similarly, you can actually use nested in this if else, right? You can actually use if and then else also you could use. Okay, I did not mention it here, but you could even make it like complicated also. Okay, you can this here this nested if, right? It is of like 2 levels. That is, we have one if condition. Inside that if condition, we have another if condition. Inside that if condition, you can have like third if condition. That is, you want to see, let's say like three students. Okay. Now inside this, you could run like one more if block. Okay. If C is greater than or equal to 40. Similarly, for this else also you'll run if else. Similarly, you know the drill, right? Okay. Clear, right? What I'm talking about? Is this clear? Suppose I use 2 students. That's why I got this. I mean 2 layers of if block. Okay, if you are using 3 students, then you will have like 3 layers. That is if. Okay. Okay. Okay, this you could try it by yourself if you want. Okay. But then let's move on to the next important topic, for loops. Okay. For loops in Python. Okay. For loops and while loops along with this if else block, they form the important part of important part of any programming language. Okay, if you know exactly like how to construct the if blocks, how to construct the else blocks, and then like how to do the for loops and then while loops, then it basically knows you could solve like almost all of the problems. Okay, the remaining are all right. Apart from this if else and then the for loop while loop, right? That is just like learning new words kind of thing. Okay, if you know how to write the if else block and then the for loop while loop, right? Like it's like you know how to construct a sentence. It's like it's like you know how to speak. Okay, how to speak a particular language. Okay, it's similar to that. Okay, and this learning other things, it's like learning to know more words to use it in your vocabulary while you're speaking. Is my comparison understandable, or is it high too high level? It's clear, right? What I'm trying to say? Is it no response? Is it clear what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
I'll say it again.
Yes, sir.
If you know the if else part and then the for loop and the while loop clearly, it basically means you could solve majority of the problems in a programming language. Okay, the other parts it just helps you to solve the problem. Okay, that's not mandatory. It's kind of like, yeah, that's what I want to say. Okay, so let's move forward.
Have we covered the
Now
while
we'll
part?
solve. Now we'll look at, yeah.
Have we done the while part? We have not done the while now, right?
No. We haven't looked at any for loop or while loop. This is the first time we're looking at it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. First we look at the for loop. Okay. Yeah, so I want to print the first 100 numbers. How do I do it? First 100 numbers. Okay. You need to run a loop, right? It's kind of like, you want to do the same process. That is like you'll print number 1, then you again go to number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and so on. You check until it is equal to 100. Correct? That's how you generally do it, right? Am I right? Right. It's kind of like there is some set of operations. You need to do it n number of times. For n number of times, it's kind of like iterations which we call in the programming world. Okay, you call it like iterations. Okay, so doing the same task repetitively, like for fixed number of times, for that you will use the for loops. Okay, the way you use it is for I in range of 100. Okay, this range function, what it's going to do is it's going to give you the value from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. Okay, and the 0 to 100 value, it's going to be stored in I. Okay, so basically, let me just run this and show you. If we do this print I, right, initially I will be equal to 0. After that I will be equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on 99. Okay, 99 because the last value will not be included. Just like we have seen in the slicing, right, that slicing of like string of A to B, where the last value of b will be included. Until like b minus 1 it will be included. Similarly here also, until 100 minus 1, until 99 it will be printed. Okay, let me run this. Okay, you could see here. Remove all this and run again. You could see here we started from 0 and then we have gone all the way until 99. Okay. But suppose let's say you do not want to start from 0. You want to start from 1. So the way you mention it is 1, 100. Okay. And then you want to. So if you could see here this range function, right? You could see here there is a start value. Start value should be integer. And then there is a stop value and then the step size. Just like we have seen for slicing, right? We have seen the a, b, and then the comma minus 1 or 1, right? Same value here. This represents the start value. This represents the end value, and then this is the step. Okay. By default, the start value is going to be 0, and then the step size is going to be 1. That is why when you mentioned it as like nothing, okay. When you mention for I in range of 100, it has considered as for I in range of it's actually kind of like considered like this 0, 100, 1. Okay, clear what I was trying to say? So let's say you want to include 100 also, then you need to mention it like 101. Okay, so now if you run it, okay, now it will start from 1 and then it will end until 100. Okay, it has started from 1 because we mentioned the start value as 1. Let's say you want only the even numbers, that is you want to start from 2 and then you want to include only the even numbers, then you will mention the steps as 2, right? You'll start from 2 and then you'll use the steps of 2. So now if I run this, okay, it has given me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and so on 100. Okay, clear? If you want only the odd numbers, then it will start from 1. Okay, again the step size is 2. Okay, so let me clear this and then run it. Okay, we have this 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and so on 99. Okay, all the odd numbers. Okay, clear until now?
Yeah. So if the step size is not given, can I skip it? By default, would it take 1?
Oh, can I repeat? If sketch file, this one.
No, if step
2L, no?
size, yeah.
Step size.
Yeah, if the
By default, it's going to take
the
like
step is 1, I can skip it, right?
yeah, you can skip.
Can I leave it
You can
just change
skip.
of? Okay.
Yes, you could do it like this. If you do it like this, then it's going to print like from 1 to 100. You could see here, right? It has printed like from 1 to 100. Okay. Okay. All right. So now this is how a for loop works. Okay. Now what you do inside the for loop, that's up to you. Okay. For example, let's say instead of printing I, you want to print it like square of it. Okay. You could do it. This I star 2, it basically means like whatever number you are having, you are doing the square of it. Okay. Here it will be clear. 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25, 6 square 36, 7 square 49, 8 square is 64, 9 square is 81, 10 square is 100. Okay. This I star 2 means that I power 2. Okay. If you want like I power 3, you could just mention it like I star 3. Okay. Let me clear this again. You could see here this 1 cube is 1, 2 cube is 8, 3 cube is 27 and so on. Okay. I hope you are able to follow me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. just for knowledge, is it possible that in internet I get the list of these codes or whatever you call this as, like summary of this, so that it can be easily used for memorizing?
Okay, so we do not exactly have a summary of this because I'm not storing it anywhere.
Correct.
Okay, because
Now,
I'm
since
just erasing it and then giving it, right?
no.
So
My
you
question was
can't-
specific. Now, since you are
Huh.
aware of it, so you use it very, with an ease. But as a beginner, if at all I have a list of these codes, I'll at least refer, like, if not, I have to make a notes of it. That's also possible.
True. Yeah.
But can there be any some list of this which is available in internet, so that we can just for memorizing
Yeah.
purpose?
Actually, you do have like lots of content notes out there, which is kind of like rough sheet or like cheat sheet. Okay, small notes kind of thing where they explain all this. So you could actually Google it. You could actually get it. Okay, if possible, we'll also try to share those notes with you. Okay.
Please, that could be helpful.
Yeah. Okay, so as I told, until now we looked at how to construct a for loop. Okay, what to do inside a for loop, that's totally up to you guys. Okay. For example, let's say I want to print all the numbers which are divisible by 5, not 5. Let's make it like 11. Okay, which are divisible by 11, unlike which are less than 1000. How do you do it? Can someone tell me? I want to print all the numbers. Now my problem statement is I want to print all numbers less than 1000 and divisible by 11. Okay, how do you do it? Can someone tell me?
Maybe next to for loop, we can have a if
Okay.
I is less than 1000.
If I is less than 1000,
We have to range 1 to 1000. Range.
So first we
1
have to increase the range.
range
1 to
1000.
1000. Yes. After this,
If I percentage 11
Okay,
equal to
and
0,
then
print I.
exactly.
is equal to 0. Yeah.
So there must be uncondition also, right? And okay.
Like you are talking about and I less than 1000 case, that
No, but
condition.
anyway, that is controlled in range, right?
Yeah,
So I think it
that
is
is
controlled
controlled
in
by the
range.
for loop, so we need not check for that. Okay, it's kind of like you are in India and then asking a fellow person like, are you an Indian or not? Okay, it's that trivial. Okay, so
Already the
let's
condition
run
is
this.
satisfied.
Huh. So what it will print? It will print kind of like 11 table, right? So it's going to print you like 11 ones 11, 11 2 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, and so on all the way until 990. Okay, clear? Clear, right? What we have done
Okay.
right now?
So yeah, it is clear. And wherever there is a function range print, we have a parenthesis. Don't we need any parenthesis for if a statement? But generally in other languages, we have if, and within parenthesis we'll give the condition.
So we won't have the
If
parameter.
I divisible by 11. Okay, here.
This actually is a parameter for if. So okay, what's going to happen is
Okay,
for a for block,
Mhm.
for a for loop, right? Here it's a loop, right? We want to do, as I told, a set of operations repetitively. Okay, for you to do a set of operations repetitively, you want to have a start condition, you want to have an end condition, and then you want to have a relation between a start and stop. That is like how we want to approach from start to end, right? For that you have like here you want to start from 1 and you want to end before 1001, and then your step size is 1. Okay, that is why you have you have this much condition for block. But for if block, all you want to check is whether that particular condition is true or not. That's the only thing that matters for if block. Okay. That is like, let's say, if a particular person is tall, then maybe I will give you a particular t-shirt size that is like bigger t-shirt. Here, all I want to know about is whether that particular person is tall or not. That's it. Okay. So this is going to be a Boolean one. Boolean means, as I told you, right? True or false. Okay.
True
That's
or
it.
false.
Nothing else.
Okay.
Either it's kind of like whether you are alive or not. Either you are alive or you are dead. There is no in between, right? Okay. It's kind of like that. But then this for block you can consider it kind of like how is your age varying and all. Okay, something like that. Okay. Clear?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now let us look at the other important concept of like, I mean, not important concept, a general problem of like how you do the basic problem. I want to take an input from a user. Okay. Integer input, and I want to check whether it is an prime number or not. Okay. How do I do? I
We
took an
need to
input.
loop from, yeah, we need to loop from 2 until the number.
Okay, you want me to loop from 2 until that number. Yeah.
And in the if condition, we can see divisible by I is, if it equals to 0, then it is not a prime number.
Okay. With respect to what it is 0?
I, then
Percentage I.
I divided by
N percentage
n,
I or
yes,
I
that's right.
percentage
N, no, n percentage I.
Sir, it's GQT,
The number should not
greatest
be
common
divisible.
divisor should be 1.
That's what the number, it should not be divisible other than by 1
The
and the
number
number
itself.
itself. So,
You can
yeah.
say if the mod is 0,
True.
then it should exit the loop and then say it is not a
That's
prime.
even if it's going to be divisible by one number, we can exit
Sir,
and then
GCD of I equal to 1. Print I.
I think
Instead of
mod
I,
would be the
we can
appropriate
use when,
function.
no?
If n percentage I
N
equal to
mod,
0,
n percentage I. If it's equal to 0, you can print it is not a prime number and come out of it.
Okay. Yeah. If 10% I equals 0, then you can print it is not a prime number, is it? You'll print it is not a prime
Yeah.
number.
And then we'll come out of the loop.
Okay. Then we'll
Or
come out of
whatever the equivalent of break.
Okay.
There
Okay.
has to be something break out of the
Yeah.
loop. I don't know what is that.
Correct. There is going to be a break. Okay. So we'll discuss about break also. Okay. If it is not a prime number, then basically if we did not break out of the loop, then basically it is a prime number, right? Okay. Okay, there are actually 2 ways for it. Okay, so you have it like kind of
We can set a flag, something like that.
yeah. Initially we can mention like flag equals true or something. We'll assume that it is a prime number. So when it is not right, that is like if n% I equals 0, then we'll set the flag true, false. Okay, so we won't print it here, and let's not have the else block here. Okay, so if flag equals false, and once we come out of the for loop, if we have flag equals to true, which basically means this if block is number 2, which basically means this flag was number changed to false. right? It is a prime number, right? If flag is still true, it is a prime number. It is a prime number. Else, it is not a prime number, correct? Else, it is not a prime number. Okay, correct? Let's execute this. We have here 99. Okay, 99 is not a prime number. Yeah, it has given me it is not a prime number. Okay, let's check with some other number which is a prime number. Higher number, please. 47. 11 is kind of like straightforward. 47. 47 is not a prime. It is a prime number, right? Yeah, it is a prime number. Okay.
113.
130. 30.
113.
113. Okay. Is it a prime number? I don't know. Let's check.
And I have a question here. See,
Yeah.
the moment I find a number divisible by I think we need to quit the for loop. Otherwise, it will loop
Yeah, unnecessarily
beyond the
we
number.
are looping it. Okay, unnecessarily we are looping it. Like the moment I know that it's not a
yeah,
prime number, we can actually come out of the for loop.
Then we need to exit.
Yeah. So the way you exit is you use the break. You mentioned break here. This break statement will not be applicable for if. It will be applicable for block. So when you mention break here, it will not come out of the if block. It will come out of the for block directly. Okay. Clear?
Okay. I have a question. How do we exactly know that the second if else does not come under the first for block? What gives me the indication this second if else?
Okay, the second if block, second if else does not come under the for block. How do you know? That is it. That's it out.
Yes, yes.
So you see the indentation, right? You see the indentation, the space here.
Okay.
You see the space here. This after the for block, within the for block, you have a space here. This entire block, right, from line number 22 to 24, there is a space. After space only we have defined these lines. Okay, which basically means line number 22 to 24 falls under this for block. Okay, and this line number 25 to 27, they did not have any space. Okay, at least they are under like the same line as for block, which basically means this if block doesn't fall under the for block. Okay, clear?
Okay, if we shift tab to align it with break, would that be then considered under the for loop?
Yeah. So if it has been something like this, so then it means that this line number 25, 26 falls under the for block. Okay.
Okay. Fine. Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Okay. So now, yeah.
So according to this code, 2 will show as a not a prime number.
2 will show as not a prime number. No, actually 2 will show as a prime number.
But it's divisible by 2, right? So.
But the thing
How
is,
is it
it's like
excluding
2, 2. It's 2, 2, right? For I in range of 2, 2, right? What did I tell you? It will not include the last value. So basically, it will not include the 2. Okay, let me run this.
Even if it's the first value.
It is a prime number, you could see.
Yeah.
When we have here, for I in range of n, that is like here 2, 2. Okay. When we have here 2, 2, it won't even enter this block. It won't even enter the loop.
Okay.
We enter the loop kind of. Okay. Let me run this. Now it will be clear for you. I mentioned for I in range of 2, 2. If it entered the loop, then it will print the statement. Okay.
Okay.
See what happened.
You've not given any numbers input.
Okay. Actually, it is like it has given me it is a prime number because even though I entered 9 because we're checking just for this 2, 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Until now. Until now, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So once this break statement is executed, it will come out of the for loop. Okay. Okay. After this, we'll discuss the while loop.
Sure. For how long we are planning to continue? Sorry for this question.
Yeah, it's going to be for 20 more minutes. I thought it will end in like 2 hours itself, but it's not going to. Okay. It's while loop is almost similar. Okay. Almost similar to the for loop.
Is this basic more than enough to clear the qualifier, sir?
What? The space?
No, the basics that you are covering, is it sufficient to clear the qualifier exam?
Yeah, it's like almost sufficient. You need to practice it. Okay. You need to practice it. I mean,
okay.
Like it's going to be like whatever questions you get, right? It's going to be kind of like applications on this. Okay. It's not going to be as simple as like write a for loop for prime number or not. Okay. But it's all going to be the for loops, the if blocks. Okay. The while loops, all that only.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
do we need to cover all the videos on YouTube for the qualifier?
No, you need not cover all the videos on YouTube. I don't know how many weeks you got. You could just cover until the dictionaries and sets. Okay.
And other subjects, sir?
Other subjects, I'm not the right person to answer. Okay.
Sir, we don't have the recursion.
You won't have theory?
Recursion? Should we have recursion?
No, recursion we do not have. Recursion, we are not going to ask questions from that.
Very basic question is now that we are executing this and seeing that there is a outcome of it. In exam, it will be like we will have to only prepare a program or write a loop. That's it. Or should we do it on a screen print? Like
actually, in the exam, right, it will be like there is going to be a question, and then there are going to be some 4 options. You won't be able to run the code. All you need to do is you just need to like look at the code and then like execute that in your mind and see what's going to be the output of it.
okay. It's like multiple choice question.
Yeah, it's going to be multiple choice questions. Okay. So I told that we need to print the first 100 numbers, right? We did that using the while loop. Okay, let us do it using the we did that using the for loop. Let us do it using the while loop. So the way the while loop works is while I is less than or equals to 100. Okay, let me start from I equals to 1. I want to print from 1 to 100. While I is less than or equals to 100, what I'll do is I'll print I. Okay, and then I will increment the I value by 1. I plus equals to 1 means that you are incrementing I by 1, or you could do it like I equals to I plus 1. Okay. What it basically means is whichever previous value of I you have, you increment that by 1 and then you store it in I again. So like initially I is 1, then after line number 33, it's going to be I equals to 2. If I equals to 2, it will become 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. Let's run this. You see here we got it again 1 to 100. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, so we have here.
We have a.
Yeah.
Here we have a condition I less than or equal to 100. So in addition to that one condition, maybe if I am going to check one more thing, like, you know, if
You
it
could do
happens to be divisible by 100, what is that we
Yeah, you could do it.
not
So, for example,
not putting kind of and or that kind of
you need to put
A
and.
and the and. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
you need to
okay,
put and.
fine, fine. I'm just looking for that keyword. Okay, thanks.
You need to put A and and. Okay, or you could use or also.
No.
Okay. If I is less than or equals to 100 and I personally 2 equals 0, when both of these are true, then only this while block, then only it will go into the while loop. If it is not true, then it will come out of the while loop. Okay. For example, in the previous instance, what we have seen is, we have seen while I is less than or equals to 100, print I and I plus 1, right? So initial I equals to 1. 1 is less than or equals to 100. So it will enter the while loop. It will print I and then it will increment the I value by 1. Now I will become 2. 2 is less than 100. So it will print I again and then increment to 3. 3 is less than 100. It will print 3 and then now the value will be increased to 4. 4 is less than 100. It will print 4 and so on. It will do like for 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 100 is less than or equals to 100, so it will still execute this. But after this, you have this I equals to 101, right? 101 is not less than 100. So after I equals to 101, it will break out of the while loop. Okay. You could check it out by printing I value here. Okay. I'm printing I value, okay, comma I. Okay. Let me run this. Now it has given me 1, 200. And then I'm printing I value. It has given me 101. Okay. As I have told, since I equals to 101 and 101 is not less than or equals to 100, it came out of the while loop. Otherwise, it will never come out of the while loop. Okay. Some people, mostly, what the mistake the programmers do is they forget to write this condition of like I equals to I plus 1. If we do not do this, then this loop will keep on running running forever. We have I equals to 1, I is less than or equals to 100. We are going to print I, and then it will again go back to line number 31. Okay. One is we did not change the value of I, so I is again 1. 1 is less than or equals to 100. It will print 1. Again, it keeps on running. Let me run this to show you. You could see here, it did not stop at all. Okay, it's running. It is printing 1, 1, 1, and then like continuously doing the same thing. Okay, this program will never going to stop. Okay, it's going to stop after some time limit or something. It's going to say like time limit exited, like time limit is exceeded, something like that. It's going to show and then it's going to stop. Okay, this is clear. For a while loop, there is going to be a start condition. Basically there is going to be a condition. Okay, until that condition is true, it's going to keep on running. Once the condition is false, it's going to come out of the while loop. Okay, for you to make the condition as false, you should be incrementing the value. That is like you should be changing the value. In this particular case, you like increase the value of like I equals I plus 1. Okay, is this clear? Right, let us do the prime number here again using the while loop. So we have here n equals to input. Could see here I'm doing int of input because I know that the value I'm taking is an integer. Okay, I will take initial. I will start with I equals to 2. Okay, while I is less than n. Okay, while I is less than n, what I will do, I'll check same thing if n percentage I equals 0 or not. Okay, again let me use a flag value. Flag equals true again. If n percentage I equals 0, we'll change the flag to false. Okay. Irrespective of whether this is true or not, we'll increment the I value. I equals to I plus 1. Okay. Now we'll print. Let's not print that prime number thing. Let's just print flag. Okay. Based on flag value, we will know whether it is prime number or not. Okay. Clear? Okay, let me run this. Okay, can someone tell me one value for n? Any value for n? 91? 91, it gave me false. Is 91 not a prime number? Is 91 a prime number or not? Can someone tell me?
So it's not a prime number.
14 into 7.
Okay, it's not a prime number.
It's divisible by 13, sorry. 13 and 7.
13, 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it's a prime number. Okay, so 47. 47 is a prime number, right? Okay, it gave me true. Yeah, so it's a prime number. Okay. One student has mentioned 113 previously, so we'll use the same number again. It gave me true, so it's a prime number. Okay. Clear? While loop is clear? Hello, while loop is clear?
Loop is clear, but here again, if I is divisible n divided by I, module I, we are not breaking.
Yeah, we can actually break out of the loop. We could do the same thing. Could do the break thing. Okay, same break like we did before for the while loop, right? For the for loop, we could do the same thing again. Okay, could run this 113. It will give it true. Okay, clear? You could use the same break again. Okay, clear until now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next important thing I want to discuss is, so we'll just discuss this one small thing and then we'll end the session. Okay. I told you that in between the session we'll have we can store the multiple data, right? One student has mentioned that how can we compare the class marks of students, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I have a class A. Class A equals to, we have here square brackets and then 10, 20, 25, 35, 67, 93, okay, 100, and so on something. What this basically means is,
Set.
it is a list, okay, list.
List.
Okay, it is a list of, here in this particular case, numbers, okay, but it need not be numbers, it could be anything. It could be list of strings, list of float values, list of booleans, I mean basically true or false things. Okay, like here it could be true, okay, and then or it could be combinations also. Okay, it's not required that all the elements of a list it should be of same data type, not required. Like here you could see the first element is a boolean, right? And then the second element it's an integer. Third element it's an integer. Could change this to 25.7 float value. This you could change it to string. Okay, it's 35. 35 is actually an integer, but then here we have stored it as a string. Okay, clear? This is a list. Okay, list is a collection of elements. You could think of it that way. Okay, like we have done the indexing for string, right? That is like you got a particular character by using the index. Similarly, you could get a particular element of a list by using index. That is a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3, and so on. Len of a minus 1. Len of a basically gives you the number of elements of the list. Okay, clear? Let me run this. A of 2. Okay, a of 2 is 25.7. Okay, Now let me comment this. We don't need this while loop anymore. Okay, A of 0 is true, so it has just printed this true.
Hello, दरवाजा बंद करो.
Can you repeat? Okay, so until now, is it clear? For the beginners in programming, for the beginners in the Python, this is clear until now. Are you able to follow the most parts?
Yes, sir.
As we just in the beginning of the class mentioned about the recordings of the previous session, will it be sent through email so that we can get through those points which we have not covered up or which we were not able to attend, or at least to revise?
Okay, so the previous session which happened was there we did not discuss the concepts. There we just gone over through some mock questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll share that session regarding to. Okay. But then that doesn't cover this concept. So the concepts which you're covering, this is the first session. Okay.
Okay.
That's why we started from basics of like variables. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So you could get the length of the list by you using the same thing, len of a. Okay. And then what you could do is, right now we have how many elements? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? You could add an element to a list. That is, we could add it like a dot append.
Navia, WhatsApp video.
Others,
What is சொல்லுங்க?
Others, please, Melissa. Okay. We have here a dot append Python. Okay. So now let me print a itself. Okay. Let's run it. Before length of a is 7 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Before it was 7, but right now we have added this Python also. Is that clear? No, that Python is not visible, is it? After I have appended Python, right? Let me print length again. Okay. Before the length is 7, now it was 8. Now we could see that the Python is added. Okay. Clear? Is this clear? The list, basics of list is clear. Please mute yourself. Okay. Okay. The other important concept is, let's say like this is all these are all numbers, that is 10, 21, 23 something, 45, 89. Okay. I want to print all the elements of A. How do I do it? Can someone tell me?
Can we go for for?
We can use for loop.
For.
How do I do it?
I in A, print I.
Find range of what?
Not range, only A.
Range of A.
No, for I in only A. Just A.
No, it's not going to be A. Like range function, right? It needs an integer. A is not an integer. A is a list. So you need to ask for like length of A. Okay. Now you can print A of I. Okay. Here, let's run this. Got here 10, 23, 45, and then 89. Okay. Now, since you could loop through and then get a particular index value, right? So you could do like whatever you want. Like let's say you want to increment each of the value of element A by 5. Okay. So you could do it something like A of I equals to, or let's say you want to square it. A of I star 2. Okay. Now let's print A. Initially A is 10, 23, 45, 89. After this it was 100, 529, 20, 25, 7921. Okay. 89 square is 7921. Okay. Is this clear? You could get the sum
Instead
of
of
the
range,
what?
instead of
Hello?
range of length of A, can we directly give A?
For I in A,
Yeah, removing completely range of length of A, can we give it directly A and try to print?
yeah, you could do that.
Okay. Print I.
Yeah, you could do this.
Okay.
You could do this. But then the problem here is that here you'll be able to get the value over it. Okay. Suppose let's say I want to do this I star star. I'm like I want to do the square of it. You could do that also, but then you can't change the index value. That is, if you print A, right? Okay, you can't change
The
the
original value would be there.
original value. The original value will still be there. If you
We
want to
can
change the original
append
value,
it and
you
then
only get
remove the original list, right?
Can I repeat?
We can append this value I power 2 to a new list and then remove this 40th line, the list A.
Oh, yes, that you could do. Like let's say I want to create an I have an empty list. Okay, this means an empty list. I could just append this to L dot append I star 2. Okay, instead of printing A, I could print L now. This works. This is fine. Okay, this is okay. Yeah, I see that you're learning quickly. Okay, which is good. Okay, so similarly, like we do for I in A, right? You could do for I in character. I mean a string. For I in Python, S equals to Python. What you could do is you could do for I in S. Print S. Okay, sorry, not print S. Print I. Okay, it's going to. I mean, it's going to iterate through the characters of Python. Okay, it's going to be initially P Y T H O N. Okay, clear? This is clear. Like you do for I in a list, right? You could do for I in a string also. Okay, you could look up for the more on this list and all. So you could use for list to get the. You could actually store a list of lists, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this is a list of lists. It's actually kind of like a matrix. Like it's kind of like this. Okay, clear? Actually, you could do a lot more on this. Okay, but then this we will discuss in the next live session. Okay, we could actually do a lot more applications of the list. Okay,
Can we use append to add a smaller list to an existing list?
yeah, you could do that. So, for example, let's say I want to create an zero matrix of 3 cross 3, right? Does everyone knows zero matrix means? What does zero matrix means? Zero matrix basically means that it contains only zeros as elements of the matrix. Okay,
All
and
the
I mean
elements
like
will be 0.
yeah, all the elements will be 0. For example, let's say I want to create the zero matrix for L, okay, of 3 cross 3. So what I'll do is for I in range of 3, okay, what I'll do is I'll do L dot append of empty list. Already empty L is empty list, and then I'm appending an empty list to an empty list. So initially it's going to be something like, after the first iteration, it's going to be something like this. Okay. After the first iteration only, not the entire one. Now I could run one more for loop inside this for loop. For j in range of 3, okay, what I could do is I could get this L of I. L of I means the ith element of the L list. Okay, I know that L of I is again a list because we are appending lists only. Okay, L of I is a list, so I will append 0 here. Okay, I don't know if you're following this, but let me print here. Okay, it's going to give me, can anyone guess?
Autumn end with 0.
Yeah, it's going to give me the list of zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, I'll tell you what happened. Okay, initially L is an empty list. Okay, and after this we are doing for I in range of 3. Initially I will be equal 0. Okay, that is understandable, right? And once we come inside the for loop, we are appending an empty list to L. So it's kind of like, for the first time L is going to be something like this. Okay, now once we come inside this, now here, okay, what is this I? Initial I is equal 0, right, for the first iteration. Okay, for the first iteration I is 0, and then L of 0 is this empty list. L of 0 is the first element of the L, which is going to be empty list, and we are going to append 0 to that empty list. So it's going to be something like this. Now L is going to be equals to this. Okay, this is for j equals 0. Okay, and this is going to run like for 3 times, right? So we are going to append 0 3 times to L of 0 only. It's going to be 0, 0, 0. Okay, like in the first iteration it's going to be like this. Second iteration it's like this, 0, 0, and then the third iteration 0, 0, 0. Okay, clear? And after this for loop, it's going to go to I equals to 1. Now it's going to be 0, 0, 0, and we are going to append an empty list again to this. Okay, now we are going to append 3 zeros to this empty list. Okay, it's going to repeat again. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll stop here. Okay, we'll discuss more on this. This is called a matrix. Okay, I mean, if you use a list of lists, you could use a list of lists to create a matrix. Okay, and actually you could do so many things on this. That is, you could add 2 matrices. You could add 2 matrices, means like you could add 2 list of lists. Okay, all this you could do. Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone. Okay, I hope this is clear.
Thank you so much. Very helpful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Ram.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks
We'll
for
share
your
the
recording, sir.
patience.
Yeah, we'll share the recording. Thanks. Okay. I'll be leaving the meeting. I'll be ending the meeting for all. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.